Yes. Put on your mask and sit 10 feet away from me at all times. Thank you. Even though you've been quarantined in the house for a month, stay away from me. I was out partying last night and I might contaminate you.
But don't forget to be kind.
Has anyone seen my mask?
Okay, guys, but don't forget to make good choices.
And remember the golden rule. Do unto others as you have them do unto you.
Exactly. That's what you get for throwing the Snickers in my face last night, you little hoe.
I want to make sure I look pretty for this episode.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Life After Neverland. We're talking about BB 22 All-Stars. Yes, this week was coming in hot.
But first, let's get started with...
making sure you subscribe. Hello. Please, you guys, make sure you subscribe. We would be super excited for you to be a part of our Big Brother community. We're going to be here every season. We love BB, and we know you do too. So make sure you hit the like button as well as the notification bell so you can get a notification when we post our next video. Okay, thanks guys. Love it. All right, let's get into it. You ready?
I'm ready.
Well, as you know, Memphis won the power of veto, which then put Nicole, Anthony, and David in a major situation. How did both of them handle it? I don't think very well, either of them. But which one handled it worse? What do you think, Sean?
I didn't think either of them were going to handle it very well because they're both very passive players. I didn't expect like a great campaign from either of them. But honestly, David did a pretty good job going around securing votes, making sure he was tightly aligned with everyone. And Nicole just sat there and like bitched about Janelle the entire time.
You guys, if you don't have the live feeds, Nicole was a whole new Nicole, someone that I don't recognize at all compared to last season. I'm sure you've all heard it. You know, you've watched many of the other commentators that do BB, as well as Twitter. I worry about Nicole now that she has been evicted because, in all honesty, she was horrendous to Janelle, and it all stemmed from fear and insecurities and self-doubt. And the bad part is some of the people that she had that were like her buddies in the game were fueling that fear. Kevin, for example. And that did not help Nicole in any way, in my opinion.
Yeah, and so I want to say, like, on a personal level, we all know that Nicole Anthony is a great person, a great human being. In this game, I agree with everyone else that does YouTube videos that seem to be sharing the same opinion. She was not ready to come back into Big Brother, and I think some of the trauma from last season that she has not dealt with because she's like, oh, we're all still friends. We're all still friends. No, like there was definitely a different Nicole this time. And I think it was due to the trauma from last season that she never dealt with. Because, you know, even while they're on the block and they do their speeches to stay, David did a really, decent campaign speech to stay. And Nicole was just like, she took shots at Memphis, like, oh, big, strong Memphis putting up little old me. 2 days ago, you were crying because no one's taking you seriously. You're like, I want to be taken seriously. I want to be a strong person in this game. And then you turn around and say, oh, big man, take out little Nicole. Like, she's talking at both sides. Like, she got lost. I hate to say this because I was so excited that Nicole Anthony was on All-Stars. She needed to go. Like, and not for the game's sake, but for her own sake. Like, she needs to go, and she needs to stay off social media, and she needs to heal.
I know for me, if I had made some of the decisions that Nicole made in this game, and they were colossal mistakes in my opinion, because she came off, you guys, especially with her speech to Memphis, it's disrespectful to other players. Come on. Okay, you might not have liked Memphis's gameplay, and you might not have liked the fact that he put you on the block, but you guys are all all-stars playing this game together. If you know you're going, if you're not going to blow up the other alliance when you're going out the door, then go out classy, because I really didn't like that speech. I feel like if we just wrap it up, how I feel about how Nicole has been lately, bratty, entitled, and almost, well, I guess that's the same as entitled, full of herself. I can't believe she said to Janelle, who's been literally fighting for Nicole's life, Nicole, you should be fighting for your own life. Say what you want to say to Memphis, but you weren't fighting for your life. You spent your entire time this past week, instead of trying to save yourself, bashing Janelle. And then saying to her, well, Janelle, you just didn't do enough. What? And that is the example that I'm going to lay out there so that you understand where I'm coming from if you don't know why I'm saying she was being entitled.
when she was saying some of the things she was saying to Janelle, I was shocked that Janelle was listening to her calmly while she was
putting her lotion on.
putting her lotion on and stuff. And Nicole was saying things that would have triggered me. Like, if I'd be like, excuse me, you're on the block, not me. I'm trying to help you as a friend, but you know what? If you don't appreciate my help, go campaign yourself. Go get your own votes. Like, I would have gotten mad and I would have popped off and said something. And Janelle just sat there and she listened to her. When Nicole left, she actually cried. And Kaysar's like, I think this is the first time I've ever seen you cry. And she's like, I just feel like so bad. Like, we can't do enough to save her. I'm like, man, you're being really understanding, Janelle, because Nicole's being a B. And Nicole knows it. When you saw her, I'm sure we'll get to it, but when she was on the stage with Julie Chen, her face was just like, I just royally screwed up. And she knows she screwed up. And she even tweeted that, I saw the tweet this morning, that she apologizes to all of her fans. She knows she didn't play a very good game. And she especially apologizes to Janelle and Kaysar because they did not deserve the things that she said about them. And I know that's what she's thinking of, is Janelle's going to watch this season back afterwards and see all the things that Nicole was saying about her behind her back. I would like to point out one thing she said. She'd like to see Janelle's head on a stake.
Yeah, you guys, listen, she actually got a pretty decent edit. Can you believe it? If you're not watching the live feeds, you didn't see the real Nicole. Now, they did show some Nicole, but she was nasty. She was actually very nasty, and one of the things that didn't sit right with me is that she was plugging herself in her speech. I cannot stand that. None of us real BB fans enjoy people who are on the show to get ahead. Now, obviously, you're on the show because you're a BB fan, and maybe it will also help you to advance in your career in some way. But if the only reason that you're there is for you to plug yourself, I mean, I don't know. That just comes across so tacky. I know Nicole isn't there for that reason alone. I just wish she wouldn't have done it. Plus, there was an issue already with Danielle and Nicole Franzen in regards to her podcast. Just don't talk about it anymore.
You know, I'm sure she enjoys the game, and that's the main reason why she's there, but she was just complaining about Janelle only caring about her Instagram followers like 2 days before when she was bashing Janelle to everyone in the house, and then she turns around and plugs her podcast. Like,
and not only did she plug her podcast when she was giving her speech, but when she left, she says, everybody's going to be on my podcast. Did you hear that?
Yeah. It was not a good look for Nicole. But that being said, you know, I think everyone still loves Nicole. Nicole's still a good person. She was not ready to go back into the Big Brother house, and she did not have a good showing this time. And, you know, when you put her in a cast of real Big Brother players who aren't, you know, being racist and, you know, all the things that happened last season, you kind of see Nicole really wasn't a great player. She survived last season. That's what she was good at, surviving. But
yeah,
she's not strategic. She's not good at reading people. She's not good at understanding alliances. She didn't play a very good game. You know, I'm not saying David is, you know, an amazing player, but I think the right person got evicted this week.
The last thing that I wanted to say really quickly about Nicole as we move on to the next thing I wanted to talk about David. But even when Nicole finally realized, and she did realize in the house, obviously, that Janelle was actually there to help her and Kaysar, somehow she convinced herself yet again that they were enemy number one. So no matter how many chances she had in the game to change her way of thinking, she just kept falling down that nasty rabbit hole. And that's why I kind of have to blame some of these other people in the house that were really putting some thoughts into Nicole's head, and she fell for all of them. And I think that's the one reason why I think Nicole hasn't played the game as much as the other kids have, like Devon 3 times, Kaysar, Janelle. So she still is a little green. And I think that's what we learned about Nicole. She's still really green, and she's still really young and impressionable.
Green in Big Brother and green in life.
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, you turn around and focus on David. And I will say that David did make, I think, a crucial mistake in his campaigning, is that he solidified the votes from Memphis and Cody and the Alliance. Davon approached David to, like, help him, you know, campaign and keep him safe, and he was like, nah, I got it. And she's like, well, you know, what you should do is, no, I'm fine. I can't talk to you about it, but I got it.
Like, the cockiness that comes out of David sometimes is just beyond. David! Like, again, like, I understand they're all all-stars, but there are levels of the all-stars. Davon is one of the big ones. And I just feel like when Davon, Janelle, Kaysar come to you and they want to like bond with you, why are you not just jumping on this?
Well, David didn't even know what a veto was, so I'm sure he has no clue who Davon is or doesn't understand like how important she is to Big Brother culture. And you know, she goes up to him. He's like, I can't tell you why, but I'm good. Don't worry about it. And
Davon's
she's like,
face was funny too, because there was one where she was like, her eyes were like rolling up in the back of her head, and she was like scrunching her face, like, am I talking to an idiot or what? And she was.
Okay, you played for 3 weeks. I played for 3 seasons, but you know what you're doing, boo. Go ahead. You do you.
Problem with Nicole and David, 101. You know what I mean? Both of them were acting too big for their britches.
Is this a generational thing? Like, is this like the because they're
It's almost as if
frustrating.
I hope that by prior, and I feel like it is, Nicole Anthony being just green in life in general and in the game. Or does fame go to your head and you just all of a sudden get put up on this pedestal and you think like, I am this, you know? Like, and like no one matters. Like, there's no humble, there's nothing. And so that's whack to me.
I mean, you know, obviously we have to remember as fans that we see everything. So we know the secret conversations, we know the alliances, we know way more information than what they know in the house. So keeping that into consideration, David is making a crucial mistake that he might not realize he's making, because Davon and Bailey feel loyal to David because obviously the culture and everything in the world, they want to stick together and they really want to see an African American win Big Brother, which I think all of us would. Like, we would love that. Now, I don't like that being the deciding reason on who you vote for. Like, it should come down to gameplay. Mm-hmm. And I know Janelle's like, well, why are we even here then? Like, I agree with that mindset.
Yeah.
However, I also understand Davon's mindset. So, that being said, David has 2 free votes here in Bailey and Davon. And he's kind of pissing them off. And it's like, at what point is Davon going to say, okay, listen, maybe we need an African-American female to win the game?
That would actually be phenomenal, because what I was thinking when I was watching the show, and what I'm continually thinking right now is, I don't want David to win this show.
Mm-mm.
I don't want to win. I don't want him to win, period. I would love Davon or Bailey to win, though. And Davon, I love you so much. I think that her heart is beautiful. The gesture in itself is beautiful. However, the problem with it for Davon's game is David just proved to her right then and there he's not going to have her back, period. And that is why the vote maybe should have gone to Nicole Anthony. But the way that Nicole acted this week,
no,
she needed to go then.
And I see it no difference than like an all-guy alliance, an all-girl alliance. So like if they want to make an alliance, like that would be, I mean, America would love to see that. The problem is David's not playing that game, and I would hate to see Davon's game get hurt because she's trying desperately to form, you know, this Black Magic alliance, and David has no interest in it.
It's unfortunate because those guys, I feel strongly, I think he's close with Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, but the other guys, I feel like they would drop David on a whim if they could. I
just hope Davon sees that David is not loyal to them, and she needs a plan B.
I do too. I agree with you 100%. And on David's note, maybe he's making these decisions because he wants to be a part of the bro squad. You know, he wants to be with the boys. He feels like if he's with a team of boys, he'll stay in longer. If he's with a team of girls, maybe he won't stay in longer. But there is this little word, and it's called loyalty. And Davon is loyal. She'll be loyal. She obviously has proven that by wanting to keep David for her own personal, you know, reasons, their culture and stuff. So that would tell me, ding, 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 light goes on, David. Davon is going to have your back all the way through the end of the game. Yeah. That is important, and that is where you're clueless, David.
And, for the sake of the game, I hope she's willing to cut ties with David if it comes to that. You know, unless David changes and decides to align with them, which would be fun and great, and I would totally like that, but I don't want to see a veteran of the game, just like Janelle. Janelle put her chips in Nicole, and Nicole screwed her over. I don't want to see David do that to Davon.
When you talk about Janelle, and then of course I'm going to add Kaysar because they're 2 peas in a pod in my opinion. It's very, very unfortunate that there is no one on the other side of the house. Davon, Bailey, David, I guess, I'm trying to think who the other ones are. Is that the one? Oh, Kevin.
Christmas.
But Christmas is actually in line with Tyler and those guys, so really they don't have a whole lot of choices. It's slim pickings, and Davon and Bailey are not really 100% on the Janelle and Kaysar train. So here we go with Kaysar trying to set an alliance together with Devon and Bailey and the ones that I just mentioned. And they're not biting. They're not going to bite. And now that we know that Tyler won the HOH,
spoiler alert!
Whoops! Now, guess what? We all know that Kaysar and Janelle are screwed. And I just am so sad because last night I was going back and just kind of rewatching a few things on the live feeds to see if I missed anything. And I just see Nicole, Anthony, and Kaysar and Janelle all sitting in the backyard, having a deep conversation. And I just think it's been about 15 years since Kaysar and Janelle played this game. For me, as a big brother fan, I love seeing them back in the house like this. It's such a beautiful thing that 15 years ago, they were on BB, and here they are again. And we're so blessed to be able to watch them, as well as Ian and some of the other All-Stars play. And I really, really, really want to see Kaysar and Janelle go farther because I love watching them play, and I love their bond, and I love what they're doing. And it's so annoying that they have these huge alliances. The new BB, the new way to play the new way to play BB is literally having these massive alliances, and anybody who's not in the in crowd just gets picked off one by one, and it's really not that much fun to watch. It just feels so, how do I want to say, defeating.
Well, it's fun to watch when the Underdog Alliance starts knocking out competitions. And we needed Janelle to win this HOH.
Yeah, she was so close.
I'm normally good at math, and when she did it, I was like, she made him, and then it said 11 points. I was like, oh. Anyways, this week we're definitely gonna lose one of them. There's no way because they can't do the safety competition, the safety suites. If I know Tyler, he's probably gonna put up, Kaysar and no, he's gonna put up Kaysar and a pawn. And then after Veto, they're going to backdoor Janelle. That's what's probably going to happen. If they win the power of Veto, they're still safe, even if they use it on someone else.
Then why wouldn't they use it?
It guarantees the holder's safety should one of the nominees be removed, unless he or she is the only possible. Yeah. So if Janelle wins power of Veto and takes off Kaysar, they're both safe.
Why don't people give up their power of vetoes then anyways?
Because
it'd be easy to give up your power of veto.
Because you're drawing a line in the sand. If you take down the head of household's nominees, they can come after someone else in your alliance, which is usually what's going to happen. Tyler's going to have to put them both on the block then, because they can save each other. One of them's they can't backdoor them because they don't have anyone else in their alliance.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be a really devastating week, you guys, and it's sad. Like I said, I'd really love to see them play. There's some new players in this game that I don't really care to stay. That's tough because I really wanted to see Janelle and Kaysar. I even want to see Memphis, Cody. I want to see how they do. I want to see how they evolve in the game. I would really like it. But the way that David and Nicole played this week made me kind of happy that Nicole went home. And I kind of hope David goes home soon, too, unfortunately. Yeah. I thought maybe he would change his tune, but he's just getting more annoying in my book.
Memphis put together a pretty solid alliance, and it's gonna be the whole, they're going to pick everyone off until it's just them left, and then they'll turn on each other, just like how like you said, that's how BB is these days. If you're not following Dan on Twitter, Big Brother Dan Giesling. Dan Giesling. I follow him just because I follow his streaming on Twitch, but he's been doing a lot of tweeting for Big Brother, and he's a huge supporter of Memphis being passed and alliance members together. And a lot of people are giving Memphis a hard time. They're some of the moves he's making, he's not committing, he's not communicating with his alliance. But Dan's going on Twitter and he's defending Memphis's gameplay, and he's making some real valid points.
What's he saying?
He's saying things like, you guys are giving Memphis a really hard time, but week 2 is a little early to be creating a conflict with some powerful players in the house. Like if he puts up Janelle and Kaysar, one of them is going to stay, and they win head of household. He's definitely going up on the block. So it's not bad gameplay for him to want to lay low, because right now he's kind of in the middle of both alliances. He could easily take 1 or 2 people and shift sides of the house if he really wanted to.
And maybe that's why he's being fake.
Yeah,
it's just a different gameplay that I'm not really a big fan of, but if it works for him, that's what I'm saying. I'd like to see how Memphis evolves through this game a little bit. I don't want him to go home just yet. Last week I was a little pissed, and then I realized, obviously, the reason why he wanted Nicole Anthony out. He wants to cut at Janelle and Kaysar, which they don't really have that many options. I think that's another reason why they were trying so hard to save Nicole, because she's a number for them.
It's a numbers game, and Memphis realizes I don't have to take off the head of the snake. I could take off the tail and still do damage because at the end of the day, they don't have votes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm a Memphis fan.
Yeah, so he's a little harsh in some of the things he says.
Yeah,
though, you know.
the way he was talking to David and the way he kind of went on a power trip. I'm more of an Ian kind of guy, you know, like, so I don't, you know, if I was in the house, I would not get along with Memphis very well. The only thing that could bite him in the butt is that he's not communicating with his alliance, and his alliance is getting frustrated with him for that. So he could find himself on the outs of his powerful alliance that he built if he doesn't start communicating. But there's plenty of time for that.
Yeah, Cody, have Memphis's back on that one. Hey, yo, brother, you need to take a chill pill. Just like David said to Davon, but that didn't go so well, now did it?
Mm-hmm.
That was the other thing David said. I was like, really, David? Like, do you have a girlfriend? Because if you said that to your girlfriend, she'd be like, off with your head. Right? You need to calm down. You need to stop getting so emotional.
Yeah, like,
Don't say that to a woman.
was it Bailey who was like, David, you don't say bring it down to
Davon or any woman, period, ever. I'm
Like,
serious, David.
Again, he's
He's just a baby, but he's 30 years old. You should know this by now, David.
I will say that I was pro Christmas all the way leading into Big Brother, and I am not being proven wrong on that one. Christmas is playing a phenomenal game right now. She's in good on both sides of the house.
Yeah, because Janelle's side, they think that Christmas is with them, but she's not.
She's hiding her alliance so well that even Janelle and Kaysar are completely clueless that she's aligned with them. I think Christmas is just in a prime place to make it really far, and she's good at competition. So when it gets to the point where she needs to start winning competitions, trust me, she will.
And I will say this, you guys, Tyler, watch out, because Tyler is so likable. In my opinion, Tyler is one of those guys that gets along with everybody. He was like that in his season, and he's like that in this season. Mm-hmm. Why are you guys not targeting Tyler? And when is the house going to start to target Tyler? Because what I feel like is Tyler's just going to be like, yo, hey, you know, just hang out, chill with everybody. Enzo's like that too. The only thing is Tyler wins some comps. And so here we go. First HOH. I don't know. I think Tyler is the one to be beat in this game.
He's going to put up Janelle and Kaysar, so now he gets to put that on his resume. Memphis missed out on that opportunity because at the end of the game, when you're in the final two, you have to have a resume. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. Well, Tyler could be like, you know, I played a strong social game. I eliminated Janelle week 3. I won this many competitions, so this is going to look good on his resume. And then I thought of something else. What do you think about Enzo's rogue vote? Do you think that was just him, just whatever, or do you think that was strategic?
Oh, the meow meow. It's really hard. I think that meow meow is a bit of a wild card because, I mean, when you talk about alliances, Enzo falls into it, but then they don't, like when Julie put the alliance of 6 up for Nicole to see when she was evicted, Enzo wasn't on there. So where is Enzo in this house? That's the thing. Is Enzo just playing for fun?
Well, I think Janelle and Kaysar need to figure out that was the rogue vote, and they need to get him on their team. They can get 5 right there, and then just find one more to flip, and you got an alliance. So
last night I was kind of falling asleep a little bit, and this is a little bit old, but Kaysar was talking to Ian. I feel like he was a little bit strong holding him, and I felt like I heard Kaysar say something like, this side of the house doesn't like me anyways, I might as well just go the full mile. I feel like that's what I heard him say. I was kind of in and out of my sleep while I was watching the live feeds. I had missed that one. So any of you who have already seen it, maybe confirm, was he actually strong-holding Ian? He wasn't rude about it. He was very, you know how he was very Kaysar about it, okay? I just feel like Ian was doing a few eye rolls and getting nervous and stuff. So Kaysar is not possibly on Ian's good side. So they're running out of numbers. They're running out of numbers, Kaysar and Janelle. So, I wish I could say a little prayer for them, but I don't even know if that would be useful.
The main thing is that they did not get power this week, so that hurts a lot of chances because they could get Black Magic on their side. They could get Ian and Enzo if they campaign and then have themselves a nice, powerful alliance. But now that they don't have power, that there's no incentive for anyone to join their alliance because they are the weak people in the house right now. I wouldn't join up with them, even if I'm starstruck. You know, you don't join up with someone who's got no power in the house.
And that might be why Bailey and Davon have not fully committed yet. But the problem with that is that they're going to be on the bottom of that other alliance. Why not jump in with Janelle and Kaysar, who are great players, and then you can be semi-equals, whatever. You fall into that category of, you fall into a different place in that group of people, as opposed to with Tyler and those guys. They're definitely going to get picked off, right?
I don't think that's a good play at all, because
You don't think so?
if you team up with Janelle and Kaysar, you're basically putting yourself in the weak alliance so that you can get picked off as well. But if you lay low, wait for that alliance to be picked off completely, then the alliance you're in will have to separate, because you have to. And at that point, you form a new alliance out of the ones who are at the bottom. Laying low until the alliance of 6 has to fracture, and then take some people, whoever you can convince that they're at the bottom of the totem pole of the current alliance, bring them in, make a new alliance. The game resets. You got 2 new alliances.
Who's your favorite house guest this week, you guys? Please let us know in rapping. And what did...
We're doing Big Brother, you stupid mother... What?
That's going down the wrong path. But what did you guys think about Nicole? Let us know in the comments down below. We appreciate the people that have been leaving us comments, and those of you who have been subscribing and watching our videos, thank you. Please make sure to share. Let other people know that Life After Neverland is out there, so that other people can join us for the Big Brother fun and excitement this season. But I want to leave with you Julie's message, okay? She said, if you have the choice of being right or kind, choose kindness. I totally agree. Although I do want to say, what is it with Julie in these comments at the end this season? She tells the house guests to keep away from her, right? They have to wear their mask and she won't. We harped on this last week. And then she comes up at the end with like rainbows and sunshine right after she made Nicole cry. And then there was this weird awkwardness and Nicole sitting there sobbing. I'd hug you, but...
I would hug you, but times are weird.
Right?
So guys, until Monday, where we'll see you again with another video, have a great weekend.
Once again, don't forget to subscribe.